You could see that. I think pass rusher could be another aspect. You look at that over there.
That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 9:59 at 69 degrees, time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Obviously, you make tough decisions at the end of the season, and you evaluate, as a head coach, you evaluate a lot of different things. And, made some tough moves, tough decisions. Appreciate what those guys have did for me and for the Jaguars the last 2 years. And then my focus was, to get the next group of guys in there.
We've got a lot of work to do this offseason. I had a meeting with Kelvin the other day in my office. I had a great talk with Kelvin, know exactly where he's at, and he knows where we're at. So we're just going to continue to work with all these players and try to come to some form of compromise, some form of resolution as the weeks go on.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Good morning, everyone, as we get rolling here on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today. Already messed up the month by not starting the month with Rabbit here on the air. We have a tradition of the first sound on the air, if we can remember to, being Rabbit, some kind of luck thing that Dempsey told me about, Tommy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't
know about the Rabbit.
Yeah, I don't know what it actually means. I just know that it's in my head now.
Okay.
The calendar changes over to a new month.
Right.
The first thing you should say is Rabbit. It's supposed to be when you wake up.
Okay.
Right? It's like you wake up and
after
it's
the leap
day. It doesn't even matter
whatever.
a leap year. It's whatever month.
Oh, really?
It's all 12
First day of the
months.
month, Rabbit.
First day of the month, Rabbit. It's supposed to give you good luck.
Okay.
Throughout that
like
month.
a rabbit's tail?
Yeah. And not a bad...
A rabbit's foot, not a tail.
Not a bad month for good luck for the
I meant the
Jaguars.
foot.
Yeah, with Josh Allen, the contract could come to a head here during this month. It could.
Yeah,
I don't know
better.
if anyone...
One way or the other, right?
Right. The great expectation is that they'll get the long-term deal done with them or not. Calvin Ridley, certainly that could be clarified here during the month. With the Jaguars, you got the combine going on right now, and I was just looking at the schedule for the combine as the quarterbacks are on the field tomorrow, defensive backs, tight ends today, and I look at quarterbacks on the field tomorrow, and I'm like, man, it's a relief to not have to care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like to just have a guy that at least for another couple of years, right? Even if you're one of the people that's down on Trevor Lawrence right now, at least for the next couple of years, you're not looking at combine draft stuff saying, ooh, when did they have to start thinking about it?
I'll tell you what, if I'm looking at Caleb Williams after hearing, hey, no medical records, no medical tests, you're not examining me, you're not all going to poke and prod me. Like, what is going on, brother? Like, you know what? If you shove it so far up that, they start believing it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's giving that kid, look, he's still going to go high. He's still going to wow him at his pro day. You know that, but I don't know. I'm hearing more and more stuff. He's turning me off more and more.
I saw someone reacting to that this morning, and look, I don't follow the NBA draft process at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just, I'm not all that interested in the NBA. I'm certainly not paying all that much attention to the NBA draft, but apparently it's not uncommon for players in the NBA draft to only do medical for whatever teams they might actually get drafted by, right? Like, that's not uncommon. It's not the way the NFL has typically worked. And maybe Caleb is just trying to say, look, there's 2-3 teams maybe that might have a chance to come get me. I'll do medical for them. I don't care about the whole league getting it. I'm with you.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it's like, just do it.
What about maybe he's got something to hide? Maybe there's a tiny, tiny tear somewhere that he doesn't want the world to know because he knows what happens.
You create the question about whether or not that exists by not doing the medical.
I would. I'd wonder what's going on, But, look, I got nothing against the kid. I know he's got tremendous physical talent, but as we all know, it takes more than just that kind of talent. So.
And it does feel similar to me in some ways to Trevor Lawrence was the presumed to be number 1 overall pick for 2 years.
Yep.
Right? Like, it was basically when he got on campus at Clemson, it was like, this guy's probably going to be the number 1 pick. And then you saw him play at Clemson. It's like, this guy's going to be the number one
Yeah.
pick. Like when
Yeah.
it happens for him, he's
Yeah.
going to be the number one pick.
Yeah.
So it was close to 3 years where that was
Yeah.
the assumption for Trevor Lawrence. Well, Caleb, that's been the assumption now for 2 years.
Sure.
Right? He's going to be
Absolutely.
the number one pick. And it does feel like we're to the point in the draft process of, well, maybe not. Like there was a little bit of that with Trevor.
Yeah.
I never bought any of it.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of that with Zach. With
Yeah.
Trevor, it's like some people are saying, I actually think Zach's going to be the better pro than Trevor Lawrence. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to pick another quarterback in that draft class to be better, I thought it would be Fields.
Yeah.
Right? For me,
Yeah.
throughout the entire process, I was shocked when he wasn't the second quarterback taken off the board. But Caleb's in the middle of that cycle right now.
Yeah.
Of draft people and people around the sport that are saying, you know what, maybe not as the number one guy. I think it's different with Caleb Williams than it is with Trevor Lawrence. Right? I do think it's different, but the process feels similar to what we saw with Trevor just a few years
one thing
ago.
about Trev is he's not a diva at all. He doesn't showcase that at
None of
all.
those
It never
questions,
did.
yeah.
I feel like Caleb might be a little bit of a diva, which, look, if you perform on Sunday greatly, then you can be pretty much whatever you want. At the end of the day, he's probably going to be the first. I don't think I wouldn't pick Jaden Daniels over him yet.
Okay.
That's not in my mindset, but it does throw me off. Now, here in today's day and age, Tone, how do you know this isn't like a setup? Like, I don't like the Bears. There's been rumors he doesn't want to go to the Bears. He'd like to maybe go somewhere else. Maybe there's another, who knows in today's day and age, because you put that out there, guess what? Not only every sports station in the world is talking about it, every executive office in the NFL is talking about it. What's up with this kid? Everyone's like, who's this kid think he – seriously, they're like, what's going on? Why can't we check him out? What does he got to hide? Right? That's one of their first reactions. But maybe that's all part of the plan. And in today's, day and age, who knows?
Yeah.
Could be.
Well, that was certainly part of
Could be
it,
a
too,
plan.
with Trevor Lawrence, right? Like, there were people that were saying, why would he settle for going to Jacksonville when he could get to New York? Right? There were people who had those kind, and I was like, well,
because he's from Georgia.
Well, the next time that you see a player that is in that kind of position, that the reality is that they do, right? Like it happens. It works out where they do what John Elway did, or they do what Eli Manning did, right?
Absolutely.
And those are the
Steve
two,
Young.
right? Those are the examples of that's how often it has happened.
Yeah.
Right? At the top end of the draft where a guy has said, nah, it's not really where I'm comfortable going, where they actually don't go.
Yeah.
If it happens with Caleb, we can all react to it. Like, I don't need to anticipate he might not want to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, that'll all play out if it's going to play out. I don't expect – I'll be surprised the next time someone does it.
Yeah.
I'll be a little bit less surprised given the money they can now get while they're playing in college.
Yeah.
Right? Because they might be able to – they might just have a team that wins the lottery basically in the draft to be the number one pick, and they say, you know what? I can make a couple $1 million coming back to school for another year.
Yeah.
There might be someone eventually who does it that way.
Yeah.
But I'll be surprised the next time anyone just says, I'm not playing for that organization.
Some people feel that's infiltrated the later round, the prospects in the later rounds. They're
For
like,
sure it
I'm
has.
staying in school. Why
Well,
would
that's
I
why-
go there? I can stay here and make more money.
That's why there's so many fewer underclassmen in the draft.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to affect day 1 and 2 of the draft that there's fewer underclass. It's going to affect day 3.
Yeah.
Right? Because the depth, the back end of the draft class just isn't what it usually would be.
Absolutely.
4 or 5 years ago, and teams
Yeah.
have to figure out
Let me
how to
ask you
adjust
this.
all
If
that.
you're Chicago, now here's an interesting thing. Like, does this deter Chicago from maybe even, you know what I mean? What do you think Chicago does? I mean, you're hearing Fields to Atlanta.
Yeah.
You're hearing. I saw Fields to Pittsburgh early this morning. So that's an interesting one. I mean, look, I'm not here, but if I'm questioning my QB somewhere, I would take Justin Fields if they're gonna let him go.
I think
or
they
trade
trade Fields and they draft Williams.
Do you really?
Yeah. I think that's what they're going to wind up doing. I think it's hard to be in the position they're in and knowing that you have the 8th pick too. It's not like you're dropping out.
No, right.
Like you got another opportunity to get a premier player.
Yeah.
Right there in the top 10. So I think that the overwhelming possibility, even with all the conversation we just had about Caleb Williams, I do think he's still considered a great prospect.
Yeah.
Right at the position. And It's not that I don't think Fields could be great, because I still do. I still do think Fields
I think
could
he
be.
can be very good. I don't know about great, but he can win for you.
Yeah, I think they
I'm
made a
with you.
mistake for the first half of last season for whatever reason, not letting him run. I don't know why they limited that with Justin Fields last year in Chicago. They finally let him go a little bit in the second half of the season. He played really well.
He's a weapon.
Yeah, the back half of the year last year. So I think the eventuality is they're going to trade him. The way they talked about it this week at the Combine with the GM and coach up there, it made it sound like they didn't say we're going to trade him, but they did say if we trade him, we're going to get it done quick.
Right.
Like for Justin's sake, it was almost, we're going to get it done quick, let him get wherever he's going to be next, and we'll get ready for – they didn't say it, but Caleb.
Just think of in a young GM's career, like in Ryan Poles' career, who's a Boston College graduate, by the way. I've never met him before, but I know he played O-line there. What a decision to make.
Yeah.
Because if you're wrong, you're probably done if it don't work out. You know what I mean?
That's how that works.
And you know how the media will be. They'll be like, we had Fields. Why'd you take a risk? And this kid does. Because the only thing physically the kid's got it all, but I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'd want to sit him in a room, Caleb Williams, and figure out that he's mentally strong enough to be my starting quarterback in the city of Chicago.
At least he's in Indianapolis to meet with teams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that process can really get going, and you'll have an opportunity to do that again at the pro day, and then whatever teams get him in-house, for their 30 visits, right? Like that kind of thing. And if you're picking in the top 5 of the draft, why wouldn't Caleb Williams be one of your visits?
Yeah.
Right? Like it wouldn't make any sense for him not to be.
I'm sure for the medicals, you'd rather have an idea. Can we just look at the records?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when we do come in, we can just check you out instead
it's
of
not that we expect anything bad, but we want to know.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's an information thing.
He'll give you the records when you go, right? So
Yeah.
if you're fortunate enough to have Caleb Williams visit your organization, he'll allow you access to his medical records.
And we'll continue to talk Combine throughout the show today, Tommy, with the on-field workouts beginning yesterday. Some guys really opening some eyes up there. We'll get into all of that as we go through the show today. Dylan, what's going on today, man? You good?
Yeah, I just got this show in XL Primetime, and then I got the rest of the afternoon off. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if I'll be at a bar tonight or I don't know. If I might just take a nap. I don't know yet.
Well, naps are good too.
Yeah, I think I'm going out tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, my wife and
2 nights in a
youngest
row.
they're up in Savannah. I went home right away after.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go home. And my oldest, who lives with us, my Avery aunt, she was a big part of the show last night with Adaptive Jacks, helping out the J Fund. And I was like, you want to go get a and I was like, let's save it for tomorrow. So tonight we're going to go have some fun for a little while.
There you go.
Yeah,
we have the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today, asking, assuming the starting 5 for the Jaguars to be Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Luke Fortner, Brandon Sheriff, and Anton Harrison for the purposes of this question, how many new starting offensive linemen do you expect the Jaguars to have in 2024? Your options in the poll, 0, 1, 2, or 3 to 5.
Okay.
So we'll get into that, give our opinions on that as we go throughout the show. We had a couple of questions that we asked this week, Tommy, that I'm very interested to get your reactions to
cool.
today as well. As we
Pop
get
quiz,
rolling,
baby.
we will focus in on the NFL Combine, what happened up there yesterday and earlier this week. We'll get your reaction to Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke. When they speak, we listen. But do they say anything? We'll get that reaction as we continue along. It's a Friday edition of Jaguars Today here on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. 1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
Florida Gulf Coast flies into Swisher Gym for the Dolphins' regular season finale. JUFGCU, tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. That's right, even the J-Fun Wine Tasting Gala is part of my program because I planned for it. I got a plan of attack with Awaken 180, and I'm just enjoying maintaining the weight that I've lost all the way back in September. Over 25 pounds for me. you might need to lose a lot more. Maybe you only lose that 10 or 15, that tricky 15 that have been hanging on and you just can't get rid of. Awaken 180 can step in and give you the help you need with a plan that's formulated to your lifestyle. It's going to work, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know anyone who has tried Awaken 180 that hasn't had success with it. Personally, it worked great for me, and the key is I've been able to keep the weight off for months now. 844-346-1800 is the number to call. 844-346-1800 to get online with Awaken 180. Set a goal weight, hit that goal weight with Awaken 180, and you'll get free support and coaching for life. That's Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It's not a diet. It's a way of life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Buying a car can be stressful, especially one sold as is or with no warranty. Do the 7, 10, or 30-day warranties leave you wondering what will happen on day 31?
Stop. Car buying doesn't need to be so stressful. Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet now offer the exclusive Beaver Certified program protecting your used car for 7 years or 100,000 miles. That's right. Certified Hondas, Fords, Nissans, and any other make you consider now come with the peace of mind you deserve. Shop worry-free at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville.
The red-hot Jacksonville Icemen are back at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena this Saturday and Sunday for Military Appreciation Weekend. The Icemen face off against the Orlando Solar Bears Saturday at 7, wearing special military-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned off after the game. They meet again Sunday at 3 for Publix Family Fun Day, where you can come down on the ice and take a shot on net after the game. Get tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Icemen Hockey is #FireWithin.
Atlantic Self Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Garage getting too full with stuff? Need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Tons of locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access and month-to-month rental agreements. Moving, they can help with supplies. Heading to the players? Look for the storage locker and free bag check at the fan gift shop courtesy of Atlantic Self Storage. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com to find the location and move-in special closest to you.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Doobie Brothers. Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Pat Simmons, and John McPhee. The 2024 Tour. With special guest, the Robert Cray Band, live in Jacksonville. Performing at Daly's Place July 8th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit theDoobieBrothers.com.
1010XL gives you non-stop sports talk all week.
You got a point.
And we take you into the weekend.
What's this about?
Join Compton and Company noon to 2 Saturdays for more conversation about the teams you care about most.
Oh!
On 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Clayton, I've heard you talk about diamond grading reports from different laboratories. Don't all the diamond labs grade diamonds exactly the same way?
David, I wish I could say that all diamond grading laboratories were as accurate as each other, but they aren't, except for in one aspect, and that's the diamond's carat weight. All labs agree on what a diamond weighs, but that's where it stops. And if a customer's relying on both a store and an independent diamond grading report to give them the facts about a diamond's quality, they need to make sure that the grading reports from the Gemological Institute of America, or GIA, or from the American Gem Society Laboratory. These are the two independent diamond grading laboratories with untarnished reputations. In fact, at Underwood's, we don't accept any other laboratory's grading reports, and if you're interested in owning a quality diamond, you shouldn't either. You owe it to yourself to know exactly what you're buying in cut, color, and clarity.
At Underwood's, they tell you what you need to know, not just what you want to hear. In San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
good friends and great memories. Everybody hopes to have a bunch of them. The best way to make more is when you're out for a good time, keep an eye on your friends and make sure everyone gets home safe. Anheuser-Busch reminding you to always drink responsibly.
Take charge of your well-being at Ackerman Cancer Center. Their new location at the World Golf Village off I-95 now provides screenings for prostate, bladder, and colorectal cancers. The leaders in proton therapy, that's AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Get ready for a musical feast at Players Grill Mandarin. Experience Mandala. From Latin beats to top 40 hits, they'll have you dancing all night long. Catch Mandala live at Players Grill Mandarin Friday, March 1st at 8 p.m. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
Hey, this is David here with Royal Pest Services. Do you have that room in the house that is just too cold in the winter and just too hot in the summer? To learn about our pest-rated insulation, visit RoyalPestServices.com or call 886-2847.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Friday edition of Jaguars Today here on 1010XL. Mike Dempsey on assignment after being out at the J Fund last night. Yeah,
he told me last night that he was going on assignment. I was like, I love last-minute advances.
Yeah.
No, man, it's great. It was a great event. Great to see him and his wife, and they're there every year, so it's awesome, man. Yeah. Really cool.
He'll be back on Monday. Just taking the one day off
Yeah.
to recuperate. From
So, you know, the event was out in the stadium.
I did. I heard.
And the sponsor half hour was inside the locker room.
Cool.
It was so cool.
I saw he took a picture of Trevor's locker room.
Yeah, Trevor's, and then they had a locker for Jay McGillis. They had his BC jersey, his helmet, so cool. Great to see all the guys, Baselli and Logs and Pete Mitchell, and Jeff Kopp came out. He was working, for the sheriff's office. Don Davey was there, so it was great, man. Great. I actually met the assistant secondary coach.
Oh?
That Ryan Nielsen brought from Atlanta. Yeah, nice young couple, him and his wife. And I liked him. He was cool. I can't remember his name. It was later in the evening, but really nice young guy. And I told him, I said, I sensed some accountability coming, and he just smiled. He's like, "Oh yeah." I said, "Good. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear." So, but yeah, great event. No doubt.
Mike Gray, is that the name?
What does he look? You got a picture of him?
I do not. No.
Okay. Yeah, it might be.
But he did.
Yeah.
He was with him in Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, younger guy maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice kid or young man, and he's from here. Yeah, he went to Creekside or something like that. That's right. He's from Jacksonville. Yeah. So we'll see, man. I like hearing that accountability stuff, though, Tone.
No doubt.
You know how I am about that. But,
yeah. And it's in today's game, as we've discussed over and over. It's as much on the players like that. When you talk about culture in an NFL locker room, I think accountability is culture. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what that is. Like the coaches can't do all that legwork. That's got to be the guy next to you has to keep you accountable to the whole room of guys. And when that starts slipping, then everything starts slipping for you.
My linebacker coach would always say, he's like, don't brother-in-law each other. Don't say it's okay. Don't, because then you'll get that habit. You'll be like, it's okay. Like the whole my bad era when everyone knew it was your bad. We saw it. But that was a way to feel okay about a bad play.
Coach just showed it 5 times. We know it's your bad.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, we know. We already saw it. We saw it the first time. But yeah, so it is, and it's not like you got to have guys going around being the police, and yelling at you, stuff like that, but just talking to each other and be like, man, that's not good. Come on, we know we got to. I mean, I know this. I can recall our defensive linemen, even in practice, like if you weren't in your gap on a run fit, they'd be turning around being like, where in the hell are you at? Like, and you'd be like, oh, I better be, this. And it was good because, that's, hey, they're in their gap. They're doing their job, and you better be in your you-know-what gap, or we're going to have trouble. So that kind of accountability has to be there day in and day out.
Yeah, and it works the other way too. And it's not like they don't know when they're not there.
Right.
Right. But when after that rep, you go, where were you?
Right.
Right. Like
Right.
that's accountability.
Right.
Like that's enough for a professional athlete to just go, yeah, I got to be there.
And for the record, it's not. It starts like in the weight room, like during the off season. It starts when you're running sprints. It starts when you're really getting after it, and you're competing against one another, and you understand how important it is for me to focus on this workout and have a great workout. That's accountability too. That's culture as well.
Yeah.
And the coaches can help with culture and what they demand of their players. If they demand physicality, then demand it. And don't accept anything less. You know what I mean? If you demand something else, then fine. But they can do it that way. But you're right. That locker room's got to be just a bunch of guys, like-minded, that want the same thing and are willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And you get that, you got a monster.
We've had the opportunity on the show all week, as you would guess, to react to what Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke had to say at the NFL Combine. They spoke in 4 or 5 different places.
Yeah.
You have to some degree, combine all of it together to figure out how to feel about any of it. But
stew.
Just in general for you, Tommy, after hearing from both of them, what did you take away from anything that you heard from either one?
Injuries.
Yeah.
No. That's the new word of the offseason. Oh, no, we were injured, man. Come on. We had all these injuries. No, I'm being a little facetious, but they did say that quite a bit. Look, I mean, you want them to give us all their secrets, but they're not going to. I don't know how they can sit there and say, if we go back and we have the same 5 with Ezra at left guard that were, when Doug says, well, they only had one start together, it makes you think like, okay, they think that if we can get them back together, they'll be good or good enough. Sure. Now, the caveat is what? Okay, you got Cam. Now, forget the money because they're going to have to figure that out. But you got to expect Cam not to get suspended this year.
Yeah.
Right? So you get 4
that
more.
Would be a hope.
It is what it is. He was available for 8 games last year. You can't win with that.
Yeah.
There's no continuity. There's no nothing. When healthy, I like Cam Robinson as my left tackle, without a doubt.
Okay.
Right? So you would what if, let's just throw a hypothetical, what if Cam, and again, forget the money, you figure that out. What if Cam could give you 15 of 17 games? And the 2 that he misses aren't like at the end of the year going into the playoffs. It's during the middle, whatever, like sporadic. But he's there for you 15 games playing Cam Robinson style of football. And you have Anton you keep Anton as your right tackle. Now, I believe nothing happens in the NFL without reason. When Trent Baalke says in a press conference a few months ago, yeah, we think Anton can play left, boom, light bulb, like they've already talked about it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're thinking, Tone, well, if we can't get Cam worked out and he's not going to be helped, well, we got our left tackle. Maybe we're not going to say that he's our left tackle, but we know he can play left tackle, right? I can't believe that they're going to sit there and say, and by the way, Scherf's another one. Like, you got to be healthy and physical.
Yeah.
I think his body worn down a lot. I don't want to talk for the guy. I know he's been a badass player. He's had a great career, but he didn't have his best year last year.
Yeah, and the contract makes sense as one. If you're going to get out of contracts from a team perspective, Sheriff's is one that you look at and say, yeah, it makes sense for them to move on with the level of play.
Right.
Right, as you were just mentioning there at the end. It's Sheriff isn't the same player he was 4 years ago.
No.
Right?
Or 2.
Right? Like he played through so much
a lot.
that first
Tough
year
dude.
here.
Tough
and
dude.
Last year, for whatever reason, look, I don't know if it's age, but it might be.
Well,
right?
you have
With
to
Sheriff.
realize, man, and I'm not a lineman. I just played linebacker. But, when you get, these little probably not calling them injuries, but dings, and you get them in your elbow and you get them in your shoulder, and you know what, you're so it hurts bad enough to where it weakens you. You don't have the punch, you don't have the drive, you don't have what you need, and as you get older, you get more and more dings. throughout the year. Now, from an overall perspective, if they go back with those 5, I think they're out of their mind. I mean, come on. Didn't we learn our lesson last year? Wasn't this the message last year? 21 of 22 returning starters. We don't need much. We're bringing our own guys back. We're keeping our guys.
Obviously, Chase on is fine as the 3. Yeah.
No, right.
Like all that.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you're telling me that again about the offensive line. I don't know. Hopefully it's a smoke screen because they got to at the very least, bring in serious competition to win the starting job at the center and or guard positions, in my opinion. Now, Coach Campo told me yesterday on the horse's mouth, better guards can make your center better. I do agree with that.
Sure.
Look, I don't think Fortner's going anywhere. I think he's their guy. They like him because he can pull. We, as fans, we watch, we're like, well, he gets pushed back too many times. He's not making blocks the way he's supposed to, whatever the case may be. But that is their pick. That is their draft pick.
It is.
And they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that he can be the player that they think he can be. And I'm not, and look, they may be in their meetings going, look, we think he can be better. He's got to get stronger. We're going to focus on, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe meaner. I don't know, but we got to get it out of him in year 3.
I have said since the season ended and the crosshairs had been on Fortner for the last half of the season this year, but certainly from the fan base, that's been the center of it, right? Like it's whatever the hurricane is in the fan base right now in Jacksonville,
right.
Fortner's in the middle of all that right now. They don't want him back, blah, blah, blah. The team keeps expressing in different ways that they may not move on from Luke Fortner. With Coach Peterson, when he sat down with Frank after he had done the podium, he sat down with Frank and was asked directly about Fortner and said, basically the noise outside the building got to him. What?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
He said he was bothered by what he was hearing from the media.
Oh, come on.
Right. That Fortner was bothered by. It's like, like that was in this whole process of everything that had been said about Fortner, it was the first time that in my head, after hearing Doug Peterson earlier say, the idea is we're going to bring in a vet, right, at center. Like he said it. It's like we're looking at, maybe a vet at center. And then hearing him say that about Fortner, I was like, whoa. Yeah. Like it was the first time in the whole process that I had one of these whoa moments because I've said from the time that it started, whatever they're saying about Fortner to this point doesn't matter. What they're saying does not matter. The only thing that's going to matter is what they do to push him.
Yeah.
Right? If they bring in somebody to take the job, that's them answering how they feel about Fortner being the center next year.
If you sign a free agent center, he's your center.
You would think.
It ain't a competition. I mean, I don't know. Look, and I think, Doug, if Doug's saying that, I mean, the GM's got to be on the same page with that. GMs have egos, man. That's their picks. They want them to work out. They're going to give them every opportunity to make that happen. And look, all due respect to the fans, most of them see those 2 or 3 plays that are highlighted on Twitter or other social media where Luke Fortner's getting his ass kicked. We're all like, all right, so every play's like that. Now, I don't watch every snap. Do you? Of every game? I mean, I watch every snap, but do you study?
I'm not watching Fortner.
You're watching Fortner? Are you going back and watching how, I know there are games he struggles. I know there are games where almost all of them struggled for the most part. Mm-hmm. Look, what you were saying is absolutely correct. It all depends on what they do at that position. If they draft somebody, depends where they draft them. They draft him high, they're hoping he takes them over.
Absolutely.
But there'll be a competition. The free agent, there won't be. It depends what free agent. But if they give a money deal to a free agent center, he's your center.
You would think.
Yeah, in my opinion.
We'll see if they're willing to do that. At least Coach was willing to express that they are interested in bringing in a veteran center, over the course of the offseason. What exactly that means, it may mean top market.
Yeah.
Which, again, center top market is not the same as every other position on the offensive line.
There's
top
only so
market,
many of them.
Right, as far as money.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't cost as much to get a center as it does to get a guard, especially a tackle. Like, it's a different kind of framework that you're talking about with those things. And, look, the Jags have to figure out what they're going to do with Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley and how much money there's going to be left after if they're able to get both those guys back in the building, and what do those deals look like for both of those guys? How much money are they going to have to play with? When it comes to free agency, we'll talk about that as we continue along. There was the report that came out over the weekend where the money had gone up $13 million higher than it was expected to be in the cap. So every team got that extra $13 million. It's not like only Jacksonville got the $13 million, but Jacksonville did get the extra $13 million. And so what does that mean for deals with Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley and these other things going forward? We'll discuss that as we continue along. Tony Smith, Tom McManus here with you. It is Jaguars Today here on a Friday on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. Radio that works and plays just as hard as you do.
Starting to get the picture?
We are proud to be Jacksonville Sports Radio 1010XL.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
It's the 60th Bob Hayes Invitational Track Meet, March 14 through 16. Track events will be held at Hodges Stadium on the campus of UNF. Thursday, March 14, the annual Hall of Fame Gala at the Potter's House International. Friday, March 15, the first collegiate meet at 10 a.m. and the Coach Day Middle School Track Meet, 5 p.m. On Saturday, March 16, the annual Bob Hayes Invitational Track and Field Meet at 8:30 a.m. at Hodges Stadium. For information and tickets, visit bhitm22.org. Presented by the City of Jacksonville and Pepsi.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey there, Jacksonville. With scorching temperatures just around the corner, it's crucial to ensure your AC is blowing nice and cool. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is here to keep you comfortable all summer long. But don't wait until the heat gets here. Our service techs are ready right now to handle any cooling issues you may have at your home or business. Call Duck Duck AC today at 904-862-6769 to schedule. That's 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Online at duckduckac.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I know Honda, they're so cool on the road and off the road, but guess what? Tell them about them being on the water.
There is an all-new Honda boat coming out. We went out and partnered with Scout, who's been making the finest holes in the business for years. They're fuel-efficient, dynamic, and class-leading.
So Honda is in the boat business, and you will see boats coming to Cycles of Jacksonville soon.
We will have them in the spring, ready to go.
CyclesofJacksonville.com. Keep track of all of it. Find them on Atlantic near Regency.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and
model of vehicle. Call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Dave Binion here with my son Ammon, who is the air duct cleaning manager at Zero Res. So Ammon, you may notice a little rattle in my voice and some puffiness in my eyes. That's because allergy season is coming on. Can Zero Res help?
Yes, your health has a lot to do with the air you breathe. A clean and healthy home begins with clean air. At Zero Res, we can help clean the air in your home by cleaning your air ducts, cleaning the coils in your HVAC units, and fogging the system with a powerful antimicrobial that helps kill and control the growth of microorganisms in your air. We also have options for maintaining your clean air with our excellent inline air purifier and UV lights that will help keep your system clean and healthy. At Zero Res, we are more than just air duct cleaners. We're a clean air specialist.
Have Zero Res air duct specialists out, and right now we'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning, and while we're at it, we'll give you $50 off your dryer vent cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus here with you as we continue to react to the day one of workouts out on the field at the Combine. As the defensive line was out there, certainly anywhere along that defensive line could be in play for the Jags, whether that be a guy that plays more edge. Look, they have 3 guys on the roster right now, and one of those 3 gave you nothing last year in Yasir Abdullah. But they got Josh Allen, they got Trayvon Walker, they got Yasir Abdullah.
Right.
So if they're going to look in that direction, it would make sense. Dempsey and I talked about that quite a bit yesterday, just from a value perspective there at number 17.
Yep.
And I think if they're going to take a guy who is an edge, like an outside linebacker especially, that they're giving you an indication of how much they anticipate playing Trayvon Walker inside, right? On pass rush situation downs. Like, I think they're giving you that indication by making that pick. But I think you look at it, given the way the roster's currently built, that it makes sense, right, for them to go that direction. Maybe it makes more sense for it to be a 3-4 end that they're looking at, or a nose tackle. Not that there's a bunch of those guys available in this draft, but there are a few. So yesterday, the defensive lineman working out, all that's interesting from a Jaguars perspective. And some of those guys, Tommy, I mean, woo, are you kidding? Jared Verse, who he's been up and down on mock drafts that I've seen. Right? Like, I've seen at times where he'll be top 10. I've seen at times where he's bottom, 8 picks of the round, and I've always felt pretty good about Verse. His workout yesterday was outstanding.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it felt like it solidified to me. I wouldn't expect him to be available when the Jags are picking at 17.
No, his tape matches that, right? So that just solidifies how you feel about him as a player. That guy can get to the quarterback. There's no doubt. He's pretty physical against the run. And look, you need more pass rushers on this team. Jason's not it. Of course, Abdullah, I don't think is it. He hasn't shown anything. So you do need to bring one in. I'm okay if you grab one in free agency. Like an Arden Key type that can come in and maybe you put Trayvon down. If you're going to do a 3-4, we'll see. We don't even know yet what the base is going to be. And look, the base is what? 25% these days?
30%,
something like that. The rest of the time, they're in, nickel, dime, whatever,
They're
penny,
playing 4
whatever
down.
they call.
Yeah.
But you do need more pass rushers, and if you could put Trayvon on a guard, knowing you had somebody outside of him that can really pressure from the outside, you're going to feel pretty good about that side of the defensive front.
No doubt. The report came out to start the week, as we mentioned before the break there. The cap went up about $13 million higher than what it was expected to be.
Right.
We've heard Balky say what he had to say about he's had meetings with Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley. Right, in the last few weeks, including meetings this week while they're up at the combine with those players and their representation. Right. As they're trying to work out deals with both of those guys. Has any of what you heard this week had any impact on how likely that, in combination with them having $13 million more dollars, right? But has any of that had any impact on how likely you believe it is that both are back next year?
I think they're both going to be back. I mean, Josh Allen's going to be back one way or the other.
100%.
I mean, they're not going to let him go. They're going to tag him, and then he's going to stick around. If that happens, I'm not as confident, because then it all comes down to what Calvin Ridley wants, and I can't blame him for wanting as much money as someone's going to offer him. I hope he's here. I'd hate the thing that burns me is it's a one and done if that's the case, and why let him warm up his career here to let him go somewhere else? And I'm telling you, he's going to be that. Look, I was out of football for 2 seasons as a first-year rookie, which it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? But it takes a little bit to knock you haven't played ball in real ball, full padded, full speed NFL level, in 2 years. So that 2 seasons. So,
and it's not like he was a player that had no impact last year, despite knocking that rust off.
He had great impact if you put it into that kind of context, right? So I think they're, look, at the end of the day, it's what? It's, hey, Cal, we want the second round. They say they don't care, but let's just think that's not real. And again, they're not going to tell us everything, but just say that's not, hey, Cal, we're going to let free agency start, but you have our offer. Are you in or not? Like, I would want to know before it starts. Like, are you in? If I give you this contract, no matter what else happens out there, are you going to be committed to the Jacksonville Jaguars? And if I feel really good about that, you can't make him sign nothing. So there's nothing binding, right?
No.
But if
Gentleman's
you believe,
agreement,
then you feel good about it. And then hopefully he says okay, and nobody throws him, $5 million more a year to be their number one. Because you never know what, like you said, it goes up for the team. So how do you know Chicago doesn't say, hey, man, we'll give you, or somebody else, we'll give you more than they'll give you?
Sure. And there are a lot of teams that are going to have a lot of money. Indianapolis has money coming out of their ears.
Ridiculous
right,
amount of money.
this offseason.
Yep.
And
Washington.
I look at the way their roster is built, and from a Colts perspective, I think going after a Calvin Ridley would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, it would mean they'd be willing to pay 2 wide receivers top of the market value in the same offseason, but they can afford to do that. This year, they can afford to do that with the cap space that they have, and they get Pittman and they get Calvin Ridley, and not only are they getting Calvin Ridley, they're taking them from Jacksonville.
Right.
Like, and I think that would be part of it if Indianapolis was going to be in on it. Not that I've heard the Colts attached to Calvin Ridley a lot, but I think Indianapolis is one that's got my ears up, how interested they would be.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore ought to be all kinds of interested.
Oh, goodness. Can you imagine adding him if you kept Odell, too?
Right.
I mean, he could still run.
In Calvin. Like, I think they ought to be all kinds of interested.
I think Washington could be a fit.
I think
they
might be.
McLaurin.
They do. Right. They're a fit, but they're not a very good team.
No,
right? So that may have some kind of impact on it. Like, the Colts and the Ravens feel like teams that are at least the Colts were right on the edge of the playoffs last year. I think those are more – it's like Carolina has enough money to spend that they could land a guy like Calvin Ridley. But I do think Jacksonville making a competitive offer to Calvin Ridley – competitive offer may be enough if the bid is against Washington or Carolina.
Right.
I think a competitive offer against Indianapolis or Baltimore may not be
tough,
enough.
Especially Baltimore.
Like the how good the team is has an impact on it at that point in time. We were talking about trying to take a different angle on the Josh Allen deal yesterday with our question of the day.
Okay.
And what we asked was Nick Bosa, who's the NFL's highest paid edge rusher.
Yep.
He's getting $34 million a season.
Right.
The Jags, we were just asking, if you're bulky, what kind of average annual compensation would you be willing to pay Josh Allen on a long-term contract? And we put it at $35 million plus, basically asking, are you willing to reset the market with Josh Allen's deal? To which he would say, yes, today.
Of course.
Right, if you made that offer. Would you be willing to put it right at where Bosa is? We said 33 to 35, but say you're just paying him what Bosa's getting paid, right? or would it be less than $33 million? And well, first, how would you answer that question?
I think he should average 30. I would give him a $150 million contract. I'd probably give him $100 million guaranteed, and do it under 5 years and call it a day. And if he can't live with that, then and someone, maybe he can get more. Look, I will say, you know how it is. Like he hits the open market, which he won't because they'll tag him.
No, yeah.
But if he did, he probably would command Bosa money.
Sure.
I mean, because everyone's, he's a hot new thing. He's like, yeah, we'll overpay for him. We'll give him a little bit extra. We'll spread it out over the years. Like, it's not going to kill us.
Right.
To do that, he's worth the gamble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When you say Bosa, you say year after year after year of dominance. When you say T.J. Watt, you say year after year when he's healthy of dominance. When you say Myles Garrett, you say year after year of dominance. When you say Josh Allen, you don't say that.
Yeah.
Of dominance. Last year, yeah. Last year was a phenomenal year. And by the way, I'm all for paying him.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he gets as much as he can get. Because I do believe that Josh Allen's production is still on the rise. I think he's still. I think, and I don't think the money's going to change him. I think it's going to light the fire even more because I think he does care about being considered one of the best in the game.
Never seen any sign that he does.
I really believe that. And I've said that before. I think you're going to get even more out of Josh Allen when this is done. I still think you get a ton out of him if they tag him because he may not show up to the end. I don't blame him if he doesn't.
No, yeah.
Because I know he'll be in shape and ready to go, but he'll come ready to play come 2024 regardless. So I think, look, I don't like playing with other people's money. I wouldn't reset it for him if I'm the Jags. If I'm another team, would I pay extra for him? Depends on my needs and what he fits. If he's my number one guy, you know what I mean? Like if there's no counter, on the other side of the formation on defense to help him rush and interior help. Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm doing that.
And the less than $33 million got basically 55% of the vote yesterday.
Yeah.
And the $35 million plus reset the market got 6.5% when everything was said and done. And I've been anxious to ask this kind of question for a while now about Josh Allen because I hear so often people, when we start talking about Josh Allen, just pay him. Give him what he wants. Just pay him. And it's like, what does that mean? Right? Like, are you saying that you're willing to give him $38 million a year if that's what you go to him and he says, I want 38? Are you saying you're willing to do that? Because if you're not, then figure out what you're trying to say. I think 95% of the fan base is interested in having Josh Allen back on a long-term deal. I think there's a small percentage of people that are still like, well, it was a contract year. Like, I think there's a small percentage of people that don't want to see them pay him at all. Can't do anything about that kind of thing, right? But if you're thinking about this from a get the deal done perspective, if you're not willing to reset the market, right, and say that you're going to pay him above Bosa, if you made that offer, he'd sign it now. If you made an offer paying him with Bosa, he's likely to sign it now, right? Like that kind of offer, I think, would be enough to get Josh Allen to come to terms on that agreement now. And it's not irrational to have it at 30, right, in your head, or 28, or whatever that number is, and that's where you want the deal to land. If that's the direction you want to go with it, you're tagging him. Like you don't have any other option because unless you're willing to make the offer of making him the highest paid defensive end right now, right? Like unless you're willing to make that offer, that gets the deal done now. Not being willing to make that offer means you're willing to go through the tag, negotiate this, and land where you want it to land, ultimately, which would be with the long-term deal, but would maybe not be the $35 million a year deal. And it would mean to everyone who says the Jags are irresponsible and not having a long-term deal done with Josh Allen in this process yet, you don't really believe what you're saying if you're not one of the people who's willing to pay $35 million a year.
Well, look, and here's the thing with contracts like that. It's more about the guaranteed money, right? So I just said $100 million guaranteed on 150 over 5 years. That's at 30. But what if it was $200 million but $100 million guaranteed?
Sure.
It looks at like it's $40 million a year, but the guaranteed money hasn't changed.
No.
And then when you throw in guaranteed money, is it fully guaranteed? Is it injury guaranteed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, those
I'm
things
with you,
matter.
yeah.
If you could fully guarantee him $100 million, you could, which would be fantastic. I mean, I don't want to speak for Josh, but you could say, you know what? Yeah, but it's overall it's $200 million. But guess what? Sometimes those last couple of years never happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why that guaranteed money is very important. Like back in the day when the guaranteed money, it was more like it was backloaded. Yeah, we'll give you a big signing bonus, but you're not going to make much your first, second year. And then it becomes to a point where you better be producing at an extremely high level where we keep you at that number or we even negotiate that number or we get rid of you and erase that number other than the dead money. You know what I mean? So it does come down to – so we may see – like I said, what if they offered him a 5-year deal worth $200 million, half of it's guaranteed? That's $40 million. We would say, well, they reset it. But in essence, it's $20 million because the guaranteed money is what you're on the hook for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Until that next year happens, and then it goes to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't count to the cap until it's that year.
Yeah.
So,
and I do point it out every time it comes up, but I do think they're in – I don't think Josh Allen's representation is going to be willing to forego seeing what Danielle Hunter and Brian Burns' contract negotiations work out to be before agreeing to a deal unless you're willing to make that offer.
Yeah.
Right? That $35 million a year. If you're willing to make that offer, I think he'd sign it now without much trepidation. But if you're not willing to make that offer, I think that from his side, it doesn't make any sense to agree to any deal until you see what happens with Hunter and Burns, because I do believe that the three deals that are most informative as to what Josh Allen's negotiation should be are the Bosa deal, because it reset the market, but there's a $6 million gap between him and Watt. I don't think Bosa is $6 million a year better than Watt. I don't think he's better than Myles Garrett at all, right? When everything is said and done. But they already got their deals done
a while ago.
Bosa got to do that this year. And it's that Sweat got to do his deal this year. It's like those things are the things that inform what's going to happen with Josh Allen, not, well, TJ Watt's only getting 28. We can't pay him more than TJ Watt. No. That's not the thing. Bosa's getting 34. That's the thing.
If TJ wanted a new contract, he'd reset the market today.
And he's got 2 years left on the deal he's got now. And Myles Garrett has a couple years left on his.
But if they did.
Those guys are going to redo those deals at some point, and they're going to reset it. Like when they do it, they're going to reset the market when those deals come around. So even looking at the Watt deal and saying, well, that's around where Josh should be, it's like, it's not quite. From the negotiation side, from Allen's side, that's not how they're going to feel about it, right? Like, it's just.
I mean, you just said reset the market type of guys. I don't feel like Josh Allen's a reset the market.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
He gets whatever he gets, but I wouldn't consider him that kind of player.
But I would vote for, I'm willing to make the $35 million a year offer to get it done now, because then I can franchise tag Calvin Ridley. Right. Then I'm not having to play the game with how I'm going to hold on to both these guys, and I could write that contract however I want to sign it. Right? So I'm willing to make that offer to Josh Allen to get it done now.
Right. Well, here's the deal. Like, Josh, I don't deserve whatever. He's earned the long two. I want to see another 100%. Year out of Calvin. Like, I don't want to give Calvin like a 3-year big money
deal.
One
or the other guy getting a franchise tag, Calvin makes more sense.
I would rather have Calvin under the tag, because then you're saying, okay, Cal, A, you're going to make a ton of money this year, but B, you show us again and you even improve. I mean, sky's the limit for you. We'll redo it during the year. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Or right at the end of the year, whatever. So I agree with you there. And then if they could get that taken care of, now you can really focus on what you need to focus on.
100%.
Get that out of the way and take care of it. Yeah. So, look, again, I'll never fault a player for wanting to get as much money as he can. And just so people, you probably already know this or understand this, like when you take a deal and you take less than your market value, and I know fans think that's fantastic, guess what? Every other player at that position gets ticked off.
Absolutely.
Because you're killing the market value for the rest of us.
Yeah, you're negotiating for everybody.
Right. Don't take it down.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Like, keep it going. Like, this is, and I've never been in that situation, right, as a player ever. Like, but I got to wonder if there's, you got to hold Even the agents.
It's intuitive.
The agents, like if they take a lesser deal, guess what? They got to go answer to the other agents. They're like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah.
He's worth way more than $28 million.
Yeah.
You only got him 28.
Yeah.
Man, and then he's got to field the calls. He only got you 28. You should fire him. Get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, that's all that goes into all that stuff.
Right,
so.
and if you're the team that got him for a few million less, good for you.
Right.
Right, that he wanted to work that out. Tom Brady did it for years with New England. Took
Right.
less than he probably could have gotten.
Yeah.
From
Well, the Super Bowl rings trump everything.
Well, they do. You know,
when you're
and
Brady.
it's not like the quarterback market got hurt by
right.
Tom Brady not
Correct.
taking the absolute top of the market value every time that he got the opportunity to. But it does have some impact on the other guys that are playing this position. Everyone's negotiating off the Bosa deal right now.
Yeah.
Burns and Hunter, when they sign whatever deals they're going to sign, they're negotiating off the Bosa deal to
I
a
saw
large
something about
degree.
Hunter at 25 a year. I'm like, man, he's worth way more than that, isn't he?
I would think.
I mean, he's better than Sweat.
I'm
Isn't that
paying
what
him more than
got?
Sweat.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm willing to pay him significantly more than Sweat.
Yeah.
If I'm a team that's going to sign Daniil Hunter, though he is a little bit older, we'll see how that whole thing plays out. And I do think it has a major impact on what happens with Josh Allen and whatever his next deal is going to be. Tommy Mack here with us on Jaguars Today. We'll continue to talk all things Jaguars. We had another question of the day this week that was in line with the trying to think about the Calvin Ridley deal in a little bit of a different way. Maybe we'll dive into that when we return. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
Is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I love you, man. I love you, man. Appreciate you, man. You good luck.
Jacksonville Sports Superstation.
Get ready for the Players' Championship, March 12th through 17th at TPC Sawgrass. Don't miss your chance to watch the PGA Tour's best compete to etch their name in history while enjoying a vibrant social scene. From local bites to the latest merchandise available in the PGA Tour fan shop, the Players offers the ultimate experience for everyone to enjoy. Secure your spot today. Tickets are on sale now at theplayers.com.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Have you been dreaming of enhancing your living space with top quality custom windows and doors? Make that dream a reality with Renewal by Anderson. And right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires March 31st and restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Bob Dylan, The Rough and Rowdy Ways Tour. March 12th, 8 p.m., Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Get tickets now at jacksonvillecenterfortheperformingarts.com. Bob Dylan, live on stage. Show will start promptly at 8 p.m.
Bueller Air Conditioning presents Are You Cool?
Today's lucky contestant, a coffee filter repairman from Jacksonville Beach. Me, Dave Carvelis.
Great to be here, Pat.
No time for chit-chat, Dave. Here's your question. Your AC has been acting up. Do you A, ignore it and hope it gets better on its own? 2, take off all your clothes when you watch TV and hope that does the trick? Or C, call Bueller Air Conditioning?
Oh, jeez. I do like to sit around with no pants on.
5 seconds, Dave.
I'll say C. Call Bueller.
That's right, Dave. A quick call to Bueller will have our expert AC technicians at your door, usually the same day, to make sure that you are cool.
Can I still watch the game with no pants on?
It's America, Dave. Knock yourself out.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hicken here. The Borland Groover Foundation proudly presents the annual March to Get Screened 5K race and 1 mile fun run. Sunday, April 14th. The race starts at 7 a.m. under the Fuller Warren Bridge. Their mission, raise awareness about colorectal cancer and related deaths. All proceeds benefit the Borland Groover Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Window Game Jacksonville. The JU Dolphins regular season finale wraps up tonight as they host FGCU in the Swisher Arena. Tip-off is at 7. With 3 regular season games remaining, the 24th-ranked Florida Gators men's basketball team head up to South Carolina to battle the 18th-ranked Gamecocks this Saturday. The matchup is the first meeting this season for the two teams in conference play. Game time is at 12 o'clock. Listen to both games live on 1010 a.m. Gators baseball goes down south for the in-state showdown against the Miami Hurricanes in a 3-game series starting tonight with the first pitch at 7. Starting on the mound tonight is left-handed pitcher Cade Fisher, with Liam Peterson starting tomorrow, and wrapping up the weekend on Sunday is Jack Caglione. It's 70 degrees at 11 o'clock, time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus here with you.
I switched seats.
You did. I saw the reason why, too.
That's a dangerous. Where's OSHA, man?
I thought we were going to have to get an O-lineman for the shelf.
Let me tell you, that shelf almost came off the wall. I'm not kidding. Dab me right in the head.
Yes.
Woo. All right. That's all right. I'm good.
You had pointed out the danger earlier today.
I did. I'm like, does anybody whack their head here? And then all of a sudden we're talking. I lean back. Correct. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
moved
call me
over.
meathead for a reason.
It's all good. It's all good.
Good Lord gave me a big noggin, so I'm good. I'm good.
As the talk continues to come out of the combine, Trent Baalke making the rounds with everybody. I saw Coach was on with the NFL Network coverage last night.
Yep.
He was up in the booth for a few minutes, and it wasn't anything that jumped off the screen.
Yeah.
Right, that he had to say about the team at that point. But Cameron Wolfe, who works for the NFL Network, also had the opportunity to catch up with GM Trent Baalke and asked him about extensions for players currently here in Jacksonville. And when Trent Baalke is going to mention extension and Trevor Lawrence in the same sentence, we're going to give you the opportunity to hear where things may stand with that.
Yeah, we've started discussions, and as you know, those are going to be ongoing. And again, none of this stuff happens overnight. You work diligently between the two parties to try to get something done. Both guys you want to keep good football players. That's the object. You want to draft good football players. You want to keep them. And the more players we get that we bring into the system under our tutelage and maintain and keep in our system, the better we're going to be.
Yeah. It's not that he said anything that I'm surprised by or wouldn't expect to be going on right now. But, again, when the GM is willing to answer a question about have negotiations begun with quarterback Trevor Lawrence, I would have expected that, yes, they have. But the GM confirming that, yes, they have.
Yeah.
And, the head coach being asked, do you have the right quarterback earlier this week? Yeah. We got the right guy. And Balky emphasizing the same thing. Yeah, we got the right guy. And you cap off the week with, we're talking to him. We're talking to him and his representation about what an extension is going to look like.
Well, the agent's job is to go explore. Like, hey, Trent, are we going to talk extension this year, next year? What are we talking?
Right.
I mean, look, whether you agree with it or not, Trevor Lawrence isn't going anywhere. He is Trent Baalke's pick. And I like him. I'm just saying there is a political side to that because you miss on if, big if with a capital I and F out there for all you out there. If he doesn't turn out to be the quarterback everyone thought he was going to be, not just our Jaguars, everybody in the entire league, that's a miss. And we know what happens to an organization when that happens. That's not the case here. My point is what I'm saying is it's not like they're, year 4 goes by, right? Now, if they don't redo his deal, but they pick up his option, right? Yeah. They're still not going to get rid of it. They're still not looking for his replacement.
No.
He's their guy. He's always going to be their guy until he's not their guy.
Yeah. They have him under control for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
With the option and the tag, like those kind of things. Like he's not going anywhere anytime in the near future.
No, he's
and,
no.
There was talk last offseason that, like Burrow, like what happened in L.A., right, with Herbert, that they would get the deal done maybe this year.
I mean, he's got an argument for both those guys.
There was the conversation last year that's where Jacksonville would be with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And because of the way the season went this year, he went into this year with the expectation that maybe he's competing in conversation for the MVP.
Yeah.
Right? Those were the expectations for Trevor Lawrence this season. He didn't meet that. Right? When everything is said and done, it is part of the interesting thing about the Combine is you do get an idea of where the conversation around the team is nationally. Not that I put a whole lot of stock in what the national conversation is about the team. I don't think it means anything. They're not paying attention to all the minutia that we are, right, with what's going on with the football team. But you get that kind of overview of how people feel about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And virtually every national pundit that I've seen this week, when asked about Trevor Lawrence, has said, well, he played hurt. Like, that's the first thing out of their mouth.
Injuries.
Right. Well,
that word again.
Right. Well, he played hurt. And they'll usually follow that up. Most of them followed it up with, I thought he was playing really well until he got hurt. You know? And so...
If I may, his New Orleans game was one of his best games.
I'm with you.
And that was the week after he hurt his knee.
And it was the build-up going into the Cincinnati game, because I've said this over and over, I felt like Trevor Lawrence was on that same kind of heater that he had been at the end of the season before. Like, that's what it felt like to me watching him, is that they were about to get that again from Trevor Lawrence. And then all the injuries happened. Right? Like, it all piled up on him.
The ankle hurt, I bet.
Yeah. And then he misses the game with the shoulder and everything that goes to the concussion.
Comes at the end.
Like, all of those things just kind of piled up. And I thought Coach Peterson was interesting, this week, saying, when asked about Trevor and the season that he had, and he said he was able to play through it, and he gets a lot of credit for playing through it, but there's an impact on not being able to practice.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And it shows up on the field for these guys
everything.
when you're not having the opportunity to practice. And so he's a tough enough guy that he got himself on the field and ready to go on Sunday, but not being able to do Wednesday and Thursday and Friday does have an
Hurts you.
impact when you're not doing any of it. And there were, long stretches this season where he's not doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
The first time he's on the field with anybody that week is Sunday. And he's a good enough player that you're not sitting him down just because he didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But it has an impact on the on-field product for Trevor Lawrence. I am still just as bullish on Trevor Lawrence as I ever have been. And the way the second half of this season went doesn't have any impact on that for me.
Yeah. Well, look, I believe in him too. I don't want to sit here and I don't, because his good is really good. It is. His good is outstanding good.
It's been streaky.
Of it's ridiculously good. But the bad is bad, Tone. It is. You can't deny the bad of ball security, of interceptions, of field management, sometimes clock management.
Yeah, the game management stuff. Yeah.
He's had a lot of starts. So, look, you just got to hone him in, is what you got to do, right? Because you sit there and you'll and coaches do it too, and we do it as fans. We do it as watching the team. He'll make one of those ridiculous throws for a long completion or a nice touchdown, whatever. You're like, that's what I'm talking about, right there. That's if he could bottle that up and make that happen on those throws. Whichever throw it is, more consistent, then he would be that guy without, and you would, redo his deal. Now, let me ask you this, talking about the deal. So you mentioned Herbert, you mentioned Burrow.
Yep.
Okay, Burrow's been injured, right? So I don't know if this is fair, but when healthy, today, right now, I'm talking, is Trevor closer to Herbert or is he closer to Burrow? As a National Football League quarterback today.
I think those two guys are close, personally. I would say
you're taking Herbert over Burrow?
I would take Burrow over Herbert.
Okay.
And I would say that Trevor is closer to Herbert than he is Burrow.
Okay, fair.
But I think they're all close.
They're not far off from each other, don't get me wrong. I believe that too. But I think Burrow would be the top guy out of the three today.
Well, it's the whole league right now at quarterback. The question that's asked is, can you beat Mahomes?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the quarterback question that's being asked right now in the league. And Burrow's the only guy where the answer is a pretty affirmative, that guy can beat Mahomes.
Yes.
Right. And there's a lot of questions about all the other guys and their ability to do that with any kind of consistency. Maybe you beat them every now and then, but the big question at quarterback, and it's kind of silly that we do that kind of stuff with that position. It's like, well, he's not defending Mahomes.
Right.
Right.
No. Why is it? Yeah. Quarterback to quarterback.
But those Bengals teams, when Burrow's been healthy, they can beat him.
Yeah.
They've done it.
Yeah, no doubt.
They've done it in the playoffs.
No, right.
Burrow and Brady. Those are the two names that have won playoff games against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Well, he is the standard, that's for sure. Look, if they redo his deal, I think it's fantastic for Trevor and his family. I think that'd be great, and
I want him here for his whole career.
Look, Doug says he can fix it. So I'm trusting in Doug. Again, it's a reset, and I'm hoping for the best. I'm more of I got to see it. I'm not just going to be eyeing, pie in the sky, But I do believe in the young man. I think he's everything we want at a quarterback. He's just got to hone some things in and be a little smarter with the football and a little smarter with decisions he makes. Other than that, he does. Physically, he's got everything. So and he's tough as nails, which to me, that's one of the best, attributes you got to have.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're with me on something like this, Tommy, that I get frustrated with players going to the NFL and them talking about how to understand game situations. Like, they've been playing football their whole life. What do you mean understand game situations?
Yep.
And then I think about it with Trevor Lawrence and I go, well, he dominated all through high school and he dominated all through college.
Yep.
Like, how many of those game situations that we're talking about has he really been in until he got here?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I do think it's a little bit different with Trevor than it is most of these guys. It doesn't make me any less frustrated that the end of that half happened the way that it happened and the throws in bounce. Like, that's still, I'm watching going, what are you doing? Right? Like, I know you're smarter than that. What are you doing?
See, that to me, now that's a microcosm, okay? So you're not going to, blanket statement, but that to me, you shouldn't make that mistake in your third year.
I'm with you.
That should be a first-year mistake. Your third year, you should be whipping it into the end zone to the slant behind the guy that's trying to get out of bounds.
I'm with you. And that
take that
shot.
That
moment does. It frustrates me with Trevor Lawrence, but I think
but that
whatever
doesn't mean
lesson
he can't do it.
No, whatever lesson
didn't.
needs to be learned, unfortunately, had to be learned in the moment.
Yeah.
For Trevor, it bothers me that it needs to be, but it apparently did.
Look, and this is for all quarterbacks, but look in Trevor too. Look, if you the drops, the ones that shouldn't have been dropped, take half. He had a much better year.
Yeah. Well, if Calvin Ridley caught half his drops, there wouldn't be anybody saying, "Is he really a one?" Right? Like I think that answer would have been definitively yes.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley could still be that kind of guy. When we get back, we'll take a look at some of the news from around the NFL as we go into the back half of the program here on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. FSU through and through. Rick Ballou hosts Into the Night, evenings on 1010XL.
Attention golf enthusiasts, get ready to swing into action at the Rolling Red Pro Golf Tour at Deer Creek Country Club April 10th to the 12th. It's a charity pro-am event benefiting the Wounded Warrior Project. Rub shoulders with real touring pros, explore the Outdoor Expo, and indulge in a banquet meal. Want to play alongside a future PGA Tour player? Sign up now at RollingRedGolfTour.com. Spectators welcome and sponsor packages available. That's RollingRedGolfTour.com.
Looking for the perfect Saturday plans? Head over to Players Grill, where Saturdays are all about pizza and pints. Dive into a delicious pizza paired with your choice of Miller Lite or Yingling draft beer for just $12.99. Pizza, pints, and a great time. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
Spring is in the air, and that means another great event at Tobacco Cove. Come enjoy a great cigar and explore the creations from Foundation Cigars. Master blender Nick Molillo has created these masterpieces. Experience the Highclere Castle, the Wise Man, the Tabernacle, and the Olmec. Join us at Tobacco Cove this Saturday from 1 to 4 for food, prizes, and great deals at Tobacco Cove Cigars at the corner of Bay Meadows and San Jose. It's time to welcome in spring with Foundation Cigars at Tobacco Cove.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
The Combine is where we find out who Jacksonville has their eye on. I'm Frank Frangie. Listen as Hodges Mazda presents the Frangie Show at the Combine. Brought to you by Window World of Northeast Florida.
On 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason so many of my friends and our listeners have had Stanley Pools build their pools and now maintain their pools because Stanley Pools truly cares about their customers. Stanley Pools is locally owned and has been serving our community for 35 years. For all of your pool needs, call Stanley Pools at 269-7277. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools. 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com.
Hey gang, Hicken here. March is Workplace Eye Wellness Awareness Month. Here's a tip for those in front of a computer all day. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Set a timer as a reminder to look 20 feet away every 20 minutes for 20 seconds. This can be as simple as looking away from your computer screen or out the window. If virtual meetings keep you in your seat for extended time, shut your eyes for 20 seconds. Call or visit BowdenEye.com today to schedule your consultation. Bowden Eye, keeping the First Coast focused.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the Garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJags.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. Growing up at the beach, I know good shrimp and oysters when I see them. It's local and it's fresh. That's why Mayport CNC Fisheries is my go-to for both. They have local shrimp in stock daily and fresh boxes of oysters. Eat like a local at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's Kenai Water Jacksonville.
Ackerman Urology is your hole-in-one for men's health, helping you master peak performance with expertise and precision. Trust Ackerman Urology to help you stay on par with your health, including elevated PSAs, prostate conditions, and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly, and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey on assignment. He'll be back with us on Monday here on the show, recovering from his festivities.
Yeah.
Ain't
no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
That's right. Not sure how many claws he got into, but he got into some wine. I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
Last night.
There's a lot of wine out there, that's for sure.
As he is wont to do. He and his beautiful bride having a good time last night.
Yep.
So he'll be back with us on Monday. We'll have the whole combine to react to by the time we're back in here on Monday, Tommy. Do want to get into some of the reactions we've seen across the draft landscape, right, after day one on the field for these guys. Yesterday, I saw Chad Ryder, who we talk to quite often in the process leading up to the draft here on the show. As a draft analyst, he put up an article where he gave you an idea of some of the guys who helped their stock and maybe hurt it with what they did at the combine yesterday. So it's going to be defensive linemen and linebackers. Those were the guys that were on the field. With the corners and secondary pieces getting out there today. On that side of the football, the stock up on his list, no surprise, leading off that list, Braden Fisk, the Florida State defensive tackle.
Phenomenal.
Who, the questions are going to be about, how much he can handle the contact, right? In the NFL, he's a smaller guy for a defensive tackle, but he's big enough, and he's certainly athletic enough to do whatever you want to ask him to do at the NFL level. But the hand fighting and those kind of things, which were the big question marks for Braden Fisk, not going to get answered at the combine.
Right.
Necessarily. That's going to be, the tape is going to tell you the story on that. But I think the athletic testing for Fisk certainly going to help his draft stock, because he wasn't talked about being that type of guy a month and a half ago. And it has shown up at the Senior Bowl and then again at the combine yesterday.
It's funny when you watch Florida State's he was kind of like the unsung hero. Like he'd made plays, but there were so many stars on that defense, like Verse, that you'd be like, you'd see him be like, wow, another play by that guy, another play by that guy. So what he did at the combine just solidified that he's a baller. And he is, he's 290. It's not like he's 260 playing defensive tackle.
No.
But he is 6'4". 6'3" and 5'8". That's basically 6'4". His motor's ridiculous. It is. And again, if he can move his hips good enough to get around those big guys, then you take him. Now, I'm not taking him, as high as we have at 17, but
it'll be day two.
He'll be in that second round, I bet. He definitely helped his status. How about that kid the linebacker that ran like a 4.4, the NC State kid? By the way, didn't know anything about him. I should have. He was like ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Bednarik Award winner, Butkus Award winner. Ran a 4.42 or something like that. Holy moly!
Yeah, that's
Peyton,
flying.
what is it? Wilson? Is his name?
I think that's right. Among the other guys who impressed, Jalix Hunt, the Houston Christian University edge player. Ryder said that probably staked his claim to be a day 2 selection with how he tested yesterday. Byron Murphy, the Texas defensive tackle. He was impressive. The guy that can move the way he moves. Every year when we get to the combine and these defensive interior linemen that are talked about as first-round pick, like you just watch them next to the other guys playing their position, you're like, how does this happen?
Yeah, and by the way, his teammate who weighed in at 366. Yeah. Now if you're gonna go today and you're gonna look at the times, you're like, I ran a 5.27.
Tavondre Sweat.
Just go watch him run the 5.27. He don't look like he's running a 5.27. That is a massive human being getting down the field, man. And again, I don't care how fast my 40-yard time is for a guy that's that big. I want to see quickness. I want to see athleticism. But you're right. The other guy, he run under 4.9 at his size, which is really good.
4.87.
So they helped themselves out big
at
time.
At 297, ran a 4.87.
That's phenomenal.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Tavondre Sweat, as you just mentioned, the other Texas defensive tackle, also mentioned as a guy who impressed. Look, they didn't weigh him at the Senior Bowl. He was waiting until the combine to do any of that.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, what's it going to be? How big is he? It's like, well, he's basically what he was in college.
Yeah.
Right? Like the college number is basically what the number wound up being for Tavondre Sweat, but it was a big deal for him to measure in. Chop Robinson, not a surprise that athletically he's through the roof.
Yeah.
Right? It's all the other question marks about him. Again, it's hard to answer all those things at an event like the NFL Combine.
Yep.
But the athleticism certainly showed up.
Without a doubt.
With everything that Chop Robinson was doing at the Combine
he looks smooth.
yesterday.
You know, he's got some smooth movement out there, so it's not like it felt
4.48
like he
at
was
254.
trying. And moving around, like he's got the dip. You know, he looks like he can make some plays.
Yeah. Also mentioned Dallas Turner as a player that impressed. The edge coming out of Alabama. As far as stock down players, and again, linebacker not so much in consideration for the Jags, I wouldn't think, but it's always more consideration than I think.
Never know around here.
All right. Tommy Eichenberg, Ohio State linebacker, he said didn't help himself. Jerzon Newton, the Illinois defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently not a great day for him. Darius Robinson, the Missouri edge.
Yep.
Also just not a great day. Braylon Trice, the Washington edge, and it's interesting reading the write-up here that he has on him. Listed at 274 on the Washington website. 6'3.5". Edge rusher, weighed 245.
Oh, geez.
Right. He was 30 pounds lighter, basically, than he was when he weighed at Washington. Had average size.
Yep.
Beyond that, his 40 time, 4.72. Not great for a guy at 245. So
he could play linebacker.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? I mean, that 4.7's okay, you know, for a backer. In today's game, you want faster. Don't get me wrong. You'd like a 4.6, 4.5, but, you know, again, there's track speed, there's football field speed. You know, when the pads come on, sometimes that speed evaporates.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You're not as impressive. I mean, it's true, you know, and then, look, and again, you go – it's always about the transition. Do they have physically, mentally, emotionally the makeup to make the transition? Every position. And look, it's you don't know till they get there.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know. You could have your first day be a really bad day and get overwhelmed by the size and the speed, and it could hurt you for a while. Like your confidence goes to crap. You know, you're not the same like you were in college.
It does feel like someone who struggles with the testing as much as he seemed to yesterday. He's going to Washington, right? So he's going to be at one of the places where they are going to have the GPS data on exactly how fast he actually plays football.
Right.
Right?
Good
like
point.
Teams may not be freaked out about it as much because they have information that the public in general doesn't have, but it benefits him more to have that, right? Like some players it might hurt, but when you're not testing well athletically and they're still coming into the process, people are talking about you as a day 2 pick,
right?
Then there's something there right, on tape that says day 2 when everyone's looking at it. So maybe the athletic numbers from whatever that data is keeps him in that conversation, but the actual on-field testing yesterday certainly didn't help him with it. Let's take a quick look around the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Houston offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil had a cleanup procedure done on his knee, not expected to keep him sidelined for any extended period of time. Adam Schefter reported on Thursday that a source has told him that the Minnesota Vikings are releasing running back Alexander Madison. Madison will be joining an already crowded group of free agent running backs: Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, and others scheduled to be free agents when it opens up. Madison added to that list now. I don't know if you put him on that list, but a list of free agent running backs. The league revealed on Thursday that they have tested a system to measure first downs electronically. That could mean the end of the chain gang, running out to measure for a first down the same way that your grandparents did it. League owners will be presented with information about how the testing of the system went as they consider the new system, which could also be used to assist in sideline, goal line, end line plays if it does get installed. And the Kansas City Chiefs announced plans for an $800 million renovation at Arrowhead, which is currently the third oldest stadium in the league. But the renovation would not begin until after they host games for the 2026 World Cup and are expected to take about 4 years to complete whenever they get around to getting down to business there to renovate the stadium. I've been to Arrowhead once, and I'll say after being there, it was cool to be there. Like the atmosphere around it is neat. Right. The tailgating is cool. Like the setup they have
is cool inside the stadium.
The experience they have for that is well set up. The stadium felt old.
Oh yeah.
Like everything about it felt old.
It's like Coliseum.
Yeah.
Which
is I don't hate that.
No, not at all.
Right? Like, I love that there's still those kind of places around the league. Right? That still have that kind of, there is some history, right, in that building. And the farther away we get from those things, it is, as a fan of the game, it is a little bit sad to see. Like, I don't want to see Soldier Field ever completely go away.
No, definitely not.
No,
and it was weird when they did their renovations. It didn't feel like the same type thing. But hey, you know what? Better to spend $800 million on a renovation than $2.5 billion on a brand new stadium. So you're saving $1.7 or so billion there, I guess.
If you can figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, our answers as well as yours, when we return, asking, assuming the starting 5 offensive linemen to be Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Luke Fortner, Brandon Sheriff, and Anton Harrison, how many new starting offensive linemen do you expect the Jags to have in 2024? 0, 1, 2, 3 to 5. We'll get into that when we return and put a bow on this Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go.
Get ready for the Players' Championship, March 12th through 17th at TPC Sawgrass. Don't miss your chance to watch the PGA Tour's best compete to etch their name in history while enjoying a vibrant social scene. From local bites to the latest merchandise available in the PGA Tour fan shop, the Players offers the ultimate experience for everyone to enjoy. Secure your spot today. Tickets are on sale now at theplayers.com.
This is Daytona, the heart of racing, the soul of speed, and the only place in Florida to witness the adrenaline-pumping, awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross. Daytona Supercross, where champions are made, legends are born, and the biggest names battle it out under the lights at the world's center of racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 2nd. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Rooter is now hiring plumbers. We offer excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, 401k, and so much more. Apply now at duckduckrooter.com. That's duckduckrooter.com and click on the careers page. Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
Don't just watch the position, learn the position.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer, and he knows.
We invite you into the lab so that you can truly learn the quarterback position.
Friday mornings on The Drill, brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security,
Register Sausage,
and George Moore Chevrolet.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I know Honda, they're so cool on the road and off the road, but guess what? Tell them about them being on the water.
There is an all-new Honda boat coming out. We went out and partnered with Scout, who's been making the finest holes in the business for years. They're fuel-efficient, dynamic, and class-leading.
So Honda is in the boat business, and you will see boats coming to Cycles of Jacksonville soon.
We will have them in the spring, ready to go.
CyclesofJacksonville.com. Keep track of all of it. Find them on Atlantic near Regency.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows in $2.95.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer. Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case, plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the King of Beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
The Red Hot Jacksonville Icemen are back at Five-Star Veterans Memorial Arena this Saturday and Sunday for Military Appreciation Weekend. The Icemen face off against the Orlando Solar Bears Saturday at 7, wearing special military-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned off after the game. They meet again Sunday at 3 for Publix Family Fun Day, where you can come down on the ice and take a shot on net after the game. Get tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Icemen Hockey is #FireWithin.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Frank Frangie here. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, and I love living here. But I also know how bad bugs are in Florida. So I trust Orange Environmental Services to handle all my pest control needs because they've got the best technicians and effective treatment. Their name may be orange, but they think green. Orange Environmental has been serving the First Coast for over 50 years, and they now offer complete lawn maintenance services. Call Orange Environmental Services for peace of mind from bug problems today. Call them at 272-3284. That's 272-3284.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. You're Mackin' with Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus here with you as we are just about done for the week here on Jaguars Today.
Yeah.
We'll have our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today, asking, assuming last year's starting five to be, as Coach Peterson seemed to indicate when he said, we only had our five on the field for one game.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's the starting five, right? To be Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, who they traded for,
Yep.
Luke Fortner, Brandon Sheriff, and Anton Harrison. How many new starting offensive linemen do you expect the Jaguars to have in 2024? And I use the word expect as opposed to want because I think fans might say 5 if we said 1. I'm kidding. They wouldn't want to replace Anton Harrison.
No.
Right? But
No,
they might say 4. Like, get rid of all of them outside of Anton if the fans had their way with this. But how many do you expect them to replace? And, Trent Baalke had to say what he had to say. Doug Peterson had to say what he had to say this week. And you can react to what they said by saying, well, they're not going to replace any of them. Like, I think there is a portion of the fan base that walked away from it saying they're not going to replace any of them. I didn't feel that way even after hearing what they had to say. But, people.
Let me ask you this. Does the O-line last year get the injury excuse too? Because if they were all healthy.
Coach mentioned it.
Well, I'm just asking us.
Yeah.
Would they have played? Would they have been better? Would have Fortner played better if Cam Robinson was healthy? Would Sheriff played better if left guard was more? You know what I mean? Like, look, injuries are part of it. I'm not saying they don't have value, but at the same time, I mean, you could say, well, other teams have injuries. What if we just played better? We'd be a better team.
Yeah, true.
What if we completed more passes? What if we, stopped the other offense from scoring so many points?
What if we didn't have to wait till year 2 to find out if Cooper Hodges can play?
Right. Right. Those
NFL.
things are all what ifs. But
right. It played out the way.
Team.
Right. It played out the way it played out. They dealt with the injuries they dealt with.
Yeah.
They have the players coming back. Maybe that they have coming back. Yeah. They at least indicate, and most of the reaction to the way the Cam Robinson question was answered this week made people feel more confident that he's coming back. We talked about it before the show today. If you're a coach or a GM going to a podium at the NFL Combine, I honestly feel like your job is say nothing.
Yeah.
Don't lie. Like, I think that's your job. Any reaction to the Cam Robinson, well, now I'm sure he's coming back. I don't feel that where Cam is on the whole thing, I don't think it's changed all that much. I think you say what you say when you're up there, and then whatever the contract negotiations would have to be to get him back, if that doesn't go through the way you think they're going to go through, he'll be gone.
Right. Wanting him back and him being back could be two different things.
Very.
Yeah, we want him back. We want him back at the right number. We want him back at whatever, Here's the thing. What if, Tony, and we'll know more Monday probably after watching everybody work out, but what if at 17 there's a right tackle there that you got to have?
Let's do it.
And you move Anton to left, and then you just cut Cam.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean? Like, that could be look, I'd want a healthy Cam back for another year. I'm not playing money. I'm just saying from a player perspective, I do think he can play the game at a high enough level to protect your QB, and I do think the tenacity he brings is what is definitely needed on this offensive line. So if they can work out the money and he can stay healthy, which is looking into the crystal ball, I do want a healthy Cam Robinson back at left tackle. I'm okay with that. Okay. If Anton's right tackle for another year.
Okay. I'm okay with Anton playing either side.
Me too. And Baalke said he can play left, so there's meaning there.
And I'm okay. I'm okay if Walker Little is the opening week left tackle. I'm fine with that because I personally don't think there's some big gap between Walker Little and Cam Robinson. I think they're really close to one another as players, as left tackles, right? I don't think Walker Little is a right tackle. I think that's what the competition 2 years ago showed us. He's not really a right tackle.
Can I just say something?
Absolutely.
If they believe that, Cam wouldn't be here and Walker Little would have been our left tackle.
I don't disagree.
I don't think they believe that.
I don't disagree.
Or they would.
I think the price tag may finally be at a point where they move on from Cam Robinson because it's just, look, yeah, we like Cam a little bit more than we like Walker Little, but we don't like him $18 million more. Yeah. Right? Like, I think they may finally be at that inflection point with the decision to be made there. Our options on the poll were 0, 1, 2, 3 to 5.
Yep.
Right? 2 got the most votes at almost 61%.
Yeah.
1 got second highest vote, 20%. Then 3 to 5 at 14.6. 0. So at least the fan base is wise enough to know that they're going to replace somebody on the offensive line this offseason. Got 4.6% of the vote. So let's go position by position. You made it sound right there like you expect Cam Robinson to be back as the left tackle.
With the right number, though, it depends.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'll say this, too, if I can add. If Cam's not our left tackle, I think Anton's the left tackle. I think they'll make that
So then
move.
you go out and get a right tackle?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And then have
I just look at
Walker's my swing.
Like the Walker thing to me is he's a much better left tackle than he is a right tackle.
I agree with that.
And Anton is a good right tackle. I think if those are the two best options you have at the tackle spot, I think your best options for playing them is Walker at left and Anton at right, if that's the way the roster shakes out.
If you don't have any additions.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but Cam Robinson, it sounds like you expect him to be back. Ezra Cleveland, do you expect them to re-sign him?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. That's coming back. Luke Fortner, does he get replaced?
I don't think they're going to sign a free agent center, so no.
No. Okay. Brandon Sheriff.
I think he's going to be gone.
All right, that's 1. And Anton Harrison.
Yeah, no, he's my guy.
So 1.
Yeah.
1 with
Now-
the possibility, what does the contract look like for Cam?
1 with the possibility that Anton may be my left and there may be a new right tackle on the
So 1.5 for
1.5
for Tom McManus.
Yeah.
I'm torn between what I expect and what I want.
Well, that's
to see
different.
happen.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
with the Cam Robinson thing, because I'm with you. I think Sheriff is not going to be one of the starting guards for him this year. I would vote 1, thinking that Sheriff is the one that gets replaced. I'm with you, and that they're more confident in Cam Robinson than I am.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the way it feels. And as I've said, every time we've had the Cam Robinson conversation, when they used the franchise tag on him the second time and signed him to the extension, when they did all that, I was like, time to move on, guys. Time to move on.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to move on. Is it time to move on yet from Cam Robinson? I feel like every time the Cam question has come up, I've been ready to move on, and the team has made it very clear they're not ready to move on from Cam Robinson left. So while I am ready to move on, I'm with you. I think eventually it's going to play out with Cam Robinson winding up as the left tackle.
Yeah. What if, throw a little caveat, Tone, Cooper Hodges can play center? Like, they let Barch walk out the door without giving him a shot at center. Maybe they learned their lesson. They're like, you know what? Maybe Cooper Hodges could play center.
I think the fans would just say, as long as the name's not Fortner, they're okay with whoever it is.
That kid's athletic. I don't know if he can play center, but he's athletic and he's physical and he gets after it. So maybe
that winds up playing
That'd be
center for
interesting.
this football day. That would be interesting.
I think so.
Let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
We go out to the Players Grill in Mandarin. Matt Hayes, what's going on this morning, bud?
Hey, Tony, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Tommy?
What's up, my man? How are you?
We're doing good out here, man. We are set to talk, Jags and college football, and more Jags and college football. We might talk a little college basketball as well, but we're going to get into a lot of things, including this crazy college football, the way they're trying to figure out this new 14-team playoff and how they get qualifiers and how many qualifiers for the power conferences, and there's a lot going on.
I think they ought to just make it a 30-team playoff.
It's
Just
a
keep adding.
very fluid situation.
Just
let's
keep
put it that
adding.
way.
It's unfair to leave anybody out, Matt. It's just terribly unfair.
But the thing is, though, all these guys, they're talking right now, all these conference commissioners, they all know that the SEC and the Big Ten at the end of the day could just say, we're going to take our ball and go home.
Yeah.
And then that ends it. So
totally.
At the end of the day, they're going to get what they want, and people are just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. They already wrecked the Pac-12. They've at least
they don't care about it.
begun that process.
Are they sitting at that table, Tony, going, don't make us wreck your conference too?
Right.
Man.
Yeah, right.
Well, they could, and it might be serious. They've done it, right, with one of the major conferences out there. How would you answer the question we were asking today, Matt, with assuming last year's starting 5 to be Cam Robinson, Ezra Cleveland, Luke Fortner, Brandon Sheriff, Anton Harrison, how many new starting offensive linemen do you expect the Jags to have in 2024?
From the way they were talking at the Combine, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, again, it could be a smokescreen. They sounded to me like they are doubling down on this line. So if that's the case, I don't think there's any new starters, which to me would be shocking. Shocking, because that middle three, they need some attitude and some nastiness on that offensive line. And I just don't see it.
No, I'm with you. What do you got coming up today on Primetime?
Just football. Football, man. Jags college football. We'll talk a little college basketball as well. We will have our coach in as well. It's always good to have Dave Camp.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. All right. We'll send the people out there to the Players Grill in Mandarin to say hello. Have a good show.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
There goes Matt Hayes. Joe Coward. Mia's up in Indianapolis, maybe on the way back.
She's hustling
today.
up there, man.
Yeah.
I saw Marcel Robinson last night at the event. I'm like, were you in Indy? Like, wow, man, they're working hard. That's for
Leon
sure.
Searcy, the whole crew getting ready for XL Primetime coming up next. What do you got going on this weekend, Tommy?
Well, let's see. I got a business lunch after this, which I always love Friday business lunches. They normally mean some kind of beverage and some good food, so do that. Got a chiropractor appointment today. Can't wait. The next one, give me a little issue. So
Is that why you're knocking your head around in the studio?
That might have helped. Maybe that helped knock it back into place. Like I said, I'm solo for the most part. My oldest, of course, she's still here in town, so we're going to spend some time later on. And got to do some stuff around the house, totally chill out. Hopefully the weather's not terrible, but, I'll make it work one way or the other.
Yeah, it's supposed to be rainy this weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
On and off, basically all
fight
weekend.
through the rain.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just rain. It's good for the trees, man.
That's right. It's good for the environment, Tone.
That's right. The grass grows. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, we like our grass growing.
A little bit
nice
of rain.
And green.
You got anything going on this weekend, Dylan?
Got a golf tournament tomorrow morning, so let the rain be after 1 o'clock, and I'll be good.
Tournament? What is it? Golf tournament?
Yeah, it's a fundraiser for the baseball team.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I forgot I am doing something Sunday afternoon with the Jags. I'm helping on a help coach or help run drills for I think it's a 7-on-7 flag football thing down at the
awesome.
At the behind the Dailies place, whatever they call that now. You know, the open air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and Bees and a few other guys are going to be coaches down there, so that'll be
fun.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I got Vandy baseball, which is pretty much what I do on the weekends now, and
that's something else. Right
not a
there.
whole lot else.
That's
no,
all right.
it is what it is, Tommy.
Yeah.
Like
You're like my brother Bob. You can watch baseball on TV all day long. Like I'm like.
Absolutely can. And I am a Vanderbilt fan, and it's the only athletic program at the university that they're really good in. They're, top 5 in the country.
Right. Yeah, they are.
Basically every year right now. We will whoop your butt in baseball and women's bowling. Those are the two biggest we got going at Vanderbilt right now, but I will. It's not that I'm locked in just because it's on, but if it's on, I'll be watching if I'm home.
The bowling, too?
Yeah, for the championship.
All right.
It'll be on ESPN,
Remember when the PBA used to be so huge on Saturdays?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm not watching
Anthony.
The regular meets or anything,
Yeah, right.
But if they're playing for a national championship, I'll watch.
Bowling's cool. I like bowling.
Yeah.
I do.
See what's going on. But obviously, I'll be watching the NFL Combine, and we'll be reacting to all of that when we get back here on Monday. So for Mike Dempsey on assignment, he'll be back with us on Monday. For Tom McManus, for Dylan Denmark, I'm Tony Smith. We'll rejoin you on Monday. XL Primetime coming up next on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday.